SoresanCrockxen, clan members, anime fans, and others who stumble upon this video. I'm SoresanCrockxen, and we're doing another anime time. Oh my goodness, 2 days in a row. Yeah! Uh, so today we're going to be doing IS Infinite Stratos Season 2 review. And still the same problem from Season 1. Ichika sucks. Now before we get started with the review, link in the description, Crunchyroll. You will watch it and have fun with it if you haven't watched it. They only have Season 2 down there, or in Crunchyroll, so you're going to have to find Season 1 some way. I had to look up in another site, not in the most legal ways, not the most legal streaming, but the Season 2 is on there. But anyways, so Infinite Stratos Season 2 is, I feel like, I don't even know how to say this. It's like they gave Ichika this whole thing at the end of Season 1 that, while left him somewhat incapacitated for a bit. I mean, the OVA slash special, it was the other episode. He was fine by then, so it's not like he was incapacitated for too long. But he had a power up, and he was supposed to be a badass. And then Season 2 started, and he was just as garbage as he was in Season 1, like when Season 1 started. It was ridiculous. It was the stupidest thing ever. And then they also did something which I was inherently mad in the beginning, and then I kind of got used to it, and then I got mad again later on in the season. They introduced 2 new girls to be part of the harem group, which was, they already had a lot as it was. You had Poki, you had Ling, you had Cecilia, you had Laura, and you had Charlotte. You're adding 2 more characters that are completely unnecessary. Now the first one they added literally when the season started, so I kind of got used to her, and she actually ended up being my favorite one. Her name is Tatanashi, and she's like the president of the student council, and she's supposed to be the strongest IS user in the school. She has her own personal IS and all that stuff. And at first I was upset, but then I got used to her, and I actually ended up liking her a lot because she's kind of a little troll. Like she does a lot of things throughout the season that just makes me laugh. So I kind of got used to the fact that she was going to be around. And like I said, she ended up becoming my favorite female character. But then I think it was around episode 8-ish, somewhere around there, that they introduced her sister, which at first I thought it was just going to be one of those like regular like sister moments where, you know, they ended up connecting again, because they don't talk to each other. So I thought that was the route they were going to go. But then I remembered, oh my gosh, this is the harem. They're not going to do that nonsense, because the focus isn't on the girl, it's on the guy. So when they started it off that way, where she wanted to help her younger sister because she's a loner and all that stuff. So Tatsunashi basically asked Ichika if he could partner up with her for there's going to be like a personal IS tournament being run in the school. So she wants him to pair up with her so that she can break out of her shell, type of thing. And then certain things start happening to where, I mean, she obviously doesn't want to pair up with him. She doesn't like him because it's indirectly his fault that her IS isn't finished, because the people who are working on her IS stopped working on her IS to work on his IS. So she didn't like him. But then through certain situations, you know, she basically warms up to him. And then Tatanashi does something which made me think, oh well, that's over, because like Ichika never mentioned to her about her sister, because Tatanashi didn't want her to know that she was involved. But then she herself ruined it, because she went to Ichika's room one day, and then Tatanashi was in there with Ichika, and then when she came out, she was talking to Ichika about the whole ordeal with her sister, and if everything she had given him had worked and all this stuff. And then the other girl is Kanzushi. She became upset because then she realized, oh my gosh, my sister's just too awesome. Because she feels inferior, like she has an inferiority complex towards her sister, because her sister created her own IS by herself. And that's basically what Kanzushi's trying to do. And then the fact that her sister's the one that helped her finish it indirectly just made her upset, and then she was mad, and then she didn't like Ichika again. But then just crazy stuff happened, and she ended up falling for him. And I'm like, why? There was no reason. And then the problem with it was that they introduced her late in the season, so there was really no purpose for her to be there. I don't hate her. I'm gonna say that straight up. I don't hate Kanzashi, but she is irrelevant. She's pointless. She's just a random character they just threw in there at the end of the season, which they didn't really flesh out because, like I said, they introduced her. I believe it was episode 8, and we really didn't get to see much of her until like the second, like episode 10, episode 11. There's 12 episodes, right? And we didn't really they didn't flesh her out enough for me to care. So I just see her as a pointless character. Oh my gosh, it was dumb. Tatanashi, I got used to, but if you're gonna introduce her sister, do it way sooner so I can give a crap. Because I didn't care. I don't hate her, but I see her as pointless. She's unnecessary. I don't know. It was dumb. It was dumb. What else? Oh yeah, I wanted to mention this because it completely boggled my mind. Like it was something when it was stated, I paused the episode and I just walked away. It was one of those weird statements where in this day and age it shocks you to still be heard. But it was Ichika, right? So he was in the rooftop, and then Laura. Wait, was it? No, it wasn't Laura. It was it Charlotte and Ling? They were both up there, and they were both basically like, Ling gave him food. No, was it Ling? I don't remember who it was. But he was eating, right? And then they start talking about food, and then Ichika starts talking about how she likes both of their food because they all have their different styles. And then it was the stupidest. I'm being serious. It was the stupidest thing he could have probably stated, and they just took it the wrong way. And I mean, it's his fault. They took it the wrong way, and I'm mad at them for that because he goes off to say like they would be great wives because they know how to cook. What kind of sexist comment is that? I was completely boggled. Like I said, I paused the episode and just walked away. So I was like, you don't just say that in this day and age, especially in what's supposed to be future, the future essentially, because these are future machines that they're using. Why would, and considering that females are the only ones that are supposed to be using these things, why the heck would you even say this? And then they took it as a compliment. No! You're not so. Oh my gosh! No, you guys are militarized. Yeah, military. I don't even know the word. I'm just boggled right now. It was the stupidest statement, and they took it as a compliment. No, you're supposed to be pissed. You guys are better than him at controlling these things, and you're just gonna put yourselves back to a housewife? What kind of? Oh my! It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. I'm being legit serious. I was highly upset about that. It made no sense for him to state that, and it made no sense for him to be okay with it. But I digress. That didn't really affect the rest of the story. Also, there was an episode in there that I thought was pretty funny. It was Cecilia because Ichika tends to eat out of everybody. Like all the girls cook for him, and so he always enjoys their food. The problem with Cecilia is she doesn't know how to cook at all. Everything she makes is poison. So essentially, when they're all asking him about, like, he starts talking about how he likes Hoki's food because Hoki made him food that day, and so how much he likes her food and her style of cooking and like what she makes, and then Ling, he likes what she makes, and then what the French culinary that Charlotte makes, and even Kanzashi makes something for him and he really likes it, but hers is more like dessert type of stuff, like sweets and stuff. And then it was dumb because Cecilia kept asking about hers, and Ling actually goes up to Ishika and like, I think we just need to tell her that she sucks at cooking. And he's like, but I can't see that. That's so wrong. It's mean. I don't want to be mean to her. He's like, but you're just gonna kill somebody one of these days. And I'm like, oh gosh. And then they don't like he completely because Kantashi shows up at that point, and so he just skips the question. She doesn't even answer, just to not make her feel bad. And then Cecilia does the unthinkable because then she starts asking the girls to help her cook. And then essentially what happens is she goes to Hoki and wants her to teach her how to cook. And she's okay with it. She's totally fine. So she's going to do it. She's going to get, her help to cook. And, oh my gosh. And so Hoki's teaching her how to make the I guess, fried chicken thing that she does that Ishika loves so much. And she's like, okay. And she's like making it. But then she does, like, Hoki has to do something not in the kitchen at the moment, and she just starts spraying perfume and putting these. I didn't even know what the heck it was, but it was like it was supposed to be glazing the chicken with it. And the next day, Hoki didn't show up for class because she had food poisoning, and I'm like, she killed Hoki. What the heck? And then that day, she goes to Charlotte to ask for help, and she does the same thing, where like, wait, was it Charlotte? No, I think it was Ling first. And she basically asks all the girls for help. No, it was Charlotte first. Charlotte, and she asks her to teach her how to cook, and she's like, okay. And then she starts talking about how like they're gonna make something for Hoki to feel better. And she's like, I can't believe it. I mean, Hoki was teaching you how to cook yesterday, and then this happened. And Charlotte realizes she did something to the food, which means that Hoki's incapacitated because of her. So she's like very just like serious, like I better keep an eye on her. But then Laura falls off the bed and she has to go help her out, and she does something to the food again, and she's like, okay, let's eat it. And then she's like tasting it, and then she messes up, and then she gets sick, and then Laura wakes up in the middle of the night and she eats the food too, and they're both passed out, meaning that neither one of them is able to go to class next day. And then she goes to Ling, and the same thing basically happens where it just, oh my gosh. And then the next day, after all the girls are incapacitated, she goes to Ichika because she was going to make him food, but then she couldn't that day. So they decide to Ichika then tells her that they're gonna cook together, and I'm like, Ichika, you're gonna die too. What are you doing? But he actually stayed with her the whole time. And then they made these rice balls, and then they made a whole romantic thing and everything. Oh my god, but it was stupid. I laughed so much throughout that episode. It's basically Cecilia was killing all the girls. Like obviously they weren't dead, but they all got food poisoning for teaching her how to cook. It was ridiculous. That was funny. That was funny. But anyways, I do want to state something before I finish this video, this review. I still hate Ichika. I really do. And then the problem with him, like I said, throughout the season, it is just throughout the season. He basically was just as garbage as he was in the beginning of season 1. They pulled the same bullshit at the end of the series, or at the end of the season. I mean, you could consider the end of the series because there's no season 3. They pulled the same bullshit they did in season 1, where the last episode, Ichika goes into that other world and then basically talks to Byakushiki again, and then gets a power up and is able to defeat the villain, which for some reason is his sister, not Chifuyu. Apparently they have another sister, and she's like a middle child or something. I don't know. They never explain it. She might be a younger sister. Like she might be the youngest. Anyways, the point is she's the main villain of the season, alongside with like her group. I don't know. He gets a stupid power up at the end of the series, at the end of the season for them to win. And I don't know, it's just bullshit. I hate it. I hate Ichika as a character. He is literally the biggest problem with this series. I hate characters who are so dense. They don't understand logic. Oh my goodness, he is so stupid and dense that he honestly doesn't get what the heck is going around him. There's so many instances during the season where it's obvious that they're flirting, or it's obvious they're trying to grab his attention, and he doesn't get it. But anyways, that's going to be it for this review. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks for watching Anime Time. Like I said, link to Crunchyroll where you can watch it down in the description. Anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. This has been SoresanCrockxen, and I'll catch you guys in future videos.